What up, Wholesale to Million family? Man, I got a powerhouse interview, and this guy, man, he will rip this up, and he will drop some bomb, diggly bomb, dude. Guys, make sure you get your pen and your paper ready, cause to take notes, man. And dude, it was such an honor to have him invite me onto his channel, and he said so many kind things, and man, his energy is just there. And dude, this guy, legit, and don't quit, man. And I think just within a very short period of time, man, my man here, Earon, was able to generate $500,000 in wholesale fee. Is that correct, bro?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, in our first year wholesaling.
Dude,
yes, sir.
That is freaking insane. I remember my first year of wholesaling, man. I think I did maybe 200, maybe. Dude, you're crushing it, bro.
So I'm not gonna lie. I've had an amazing team, and I've had a core group of people that I've looked up to that have helped us along the way. You know what I mean? So we can't take all the credit for it.
Man, you guys, what I like here is, dude, people that are successful, man. Dude, some are cocky. This guy right here, man, extremely humble. I love it, man. So he's going to drop some bombs. For those of you who don't know who he is, man, God, you're about to know who he is because he's about to blow up on the internet. So, Earon, I mean, would you share with everybody, man, kind of a little bit about your background and a little bit of your story, man? Give us the dirt, bro.
Sure. So, just a little bit about me. It's funny, man. Whenever people ask me this question, I always feel like, all right, wait, where do I go? There's a million bajillion places that I could go. Just as a little snippet, I feel like I was given the entrepreneur bug before I knew what entrepreneurship was, because even though we're not going to get into all the ugliness and craziness that, my family and, we all went through growing up in the neighborhood we grew up in and all that crazy stuff. And my family my mom and dad being divorced and all that crazy trauma and all that. But what I do want to touch on is the fact that my dad, despite all of those crazy things, he implanted in me a desire to be a leader. And I remember from a very, very young age, my dad sitting me down, and we would go for walks all the time, or we would go for drives, you know what I mean? And my dad, in the midst of all the craziness going around, he would say, "What's your name?" And so you got to understand, my dad's from the Caribbean. So British Honduras, Belize. So it's very, very Belizean to have long names, right? So my name is Earon Solomon Alexander Bevans. And so my dad, he would always ask me, what's your name? And so I would tell him my name, and then he would break down why he gave me the names. Earon was in the scriptures, he was a speaker. He was able to speak and articulate words and spoke in behalf of Moses, right? Moses might have had a speech impediment, they say. And Solomon was one of the wisest men in the scriptures. And Alexander was a military strategist. And so, being 5-6 years old, hearing this from, your dad, it does something to your psychology. Now, at the time, I didn't know what was happening because I was still very, very insecure. I was very, very insecure most of my life, but all of those things started to come back later on in life, you know what I mean? And so I feel like the seed was planted then, though. He would always tell me that. And so he always gave me nuggets like that I thought about. So fast forward to, I'm 23 years old. I just recently got married, and I am a painter. Okay, now, not an artistic painter. I'm painting cabinets and walls, on construction sites, right? Making minimum wage. And I'll never forget, I'm married about a year. My wife has always been an entrepreneur. Okay, she owns a hair salon. So actually, it's a bridal hair and makeup studio. And anywhere she goes, you put her in a market, she's going to dominate that market. I mean, talk about marketing, talk about, grit, hustle, grind, just picking up adaptation. She's amazing what she does, right? I wasn't raised that way. So we're a year married. I'm 23, she's 22. She already has a booming business. I'm painting. Now, obviously she didn't marry me for money. You know what I mean? I was broke.
Maybe it was your painting skill, bro.
Hey, bro, it might have been. It might have been. and so she comes home one day, and I'm as per usual. I'm already home before her, and I'm chilling. I'm watching TV. She walks in, and I'm like, "What's up, babe?" She's like, "I want to talk to you about something." And I'm like, "Dang, you know what that means." And they say, "I want to talk to you." Okay, man. All right, turn off the TV. What's going on? What's up? And she said, "I don't like the way I'm starting to feel about you." And I'm like, what does that mean? And she said, I'm not materialistic. It's not about the money. It's not about any of that. She said, but every year since we've been together dating, my business has grown. I feel like I have grown, but I feel like you are in the very same place as you were when we first met. And she said, not that it's about the money, but doesn't that rub you the wrong way that you're in a position where if you died tomorrow, your employer would literally forget about you and probably not even write me a condolences card. You can be replaced. That doesn't rub you that with the same time that you spend doing this, you can be doing more, maybe making a little bit more impact, and maybe we struggle a little less. And man, let me tell you, bro, that if like as a man, it's already hard enough to take criticism. That's the first thing. Number two, to take it from your wife. Number three, to basically call out your ability to provide, but then say it's not even about that. It's about your character. So you can't even say, "Oh, I'm not gonna take it personal." Like, nah, it's personal. You know what I mean? So that was tough. That was tough. And from that moment, because I'm very competitive, I'm not gonna front. It caused some issues. I was very, very angry. And the way I dealt with it was just, I was furious. But once I really sat down and thought, and it took me a while, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to paint this picture of, oh, it's all flowers and roses. It took me a while because, I was still very young, very immature to get over. I had a little bit of resentment for that. But when I sat down and thought about it, I said, man, you know what? She wasn't trying to humiliate me. She wasn't trying to come for me. She wasn't disrespecting me. She could have done this publicly. No, she told me, I think you could be doing more than what you really are. She saw potential in me that I didn't see in myself. And from that point, I said, well, I'm very competitive. And so once I realized that, I said, okay, I will make it so that she never has to work. If she does, it's because she wants to. But I am going to make it so that she looks up to me as the entrepreneur in the family. Competition, you know what I mean?
Dude,
So that was the beginning where that fire was lit.
Bro, dude, that give me goosebumps. And let me tell you why, bro. Dude, that's amazing. Now, Evan, dude, Aaron, Aaron,
it's all good. I'm Evan now, bro. I'm Evan.
I don't know what's going on, man. Dude, Aaron, that people are gonna ask you. So where can I find these kind of girls, man? Not at the club or at the bar.
Hey, I'll be real with you. You're not going to find them at the club or the bar. You said it right, bro. It's not going to be at the club or the bar, man. Yeah.
Man, dude, I'm telling you, man, this gives me goosebumps, bro, because same here, man. I grew up super shy, super insecure, and the wife's the one who tells me, and she told me straight up that I got to man up.
That's tough, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. So, and the thing is, she mentioned too, is for our life to change, you must change for our life to change. And because I was so shy, so insecure, bro, it was hard for me to find a job. It was hard for me to be around people and things like that. But the same here, bro. It was just a slow progress. At first, I was like, dude, you need to love me for who I am and this and that. But yeah, man. But dude, but you can't, like, you need to be cut, you know. Sometimes people say that, but you know, like you inside of you know that you have to change, you know, like you inside of you, you know, you have to change to have a better life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a slow, you know, it wasn't happen boom overnight. But dude, so after that, man, what happened next, bro?
So the next thing, we went through a rough phase, man. We went through a rough phase where I realized that there was so much inside of me that, just like you said, that had to change, bro. And it took years from that point. You know what I mean? To actually exfoliate, get all that ugliness out. You know what I mean? And that was the beginning. That was the beginning where I realized, okay, this is for my benefit. So that's when the journey began. And I, the Tony Robbins video, Tony Robbins tape, a CD. See, oh no, YouTube video. Tony Robbins, right? And he says something that forever changed my life, Kong. Forever changed my life, man. He said, you are the way you are right now because you chose to be how you are right now. And who you are right now determines where you are right now. Period. So if you're broke, if you're unhealthy, if you don't like your relationship, if you don't like your life, if you don't like this, if you don't like that, it's your fault. It's because of who you are, and who you are is your choice. So he says it starts with your choice. You decided to be who you are, and then who you are determines where you are. And it made me so angry, man, because I didn't like the money I was making. I didn't like the ugly feelings inside of me. I didn't like the you know, the tendencies that I had, the bad habits that I had at the time. I hated it. My marriage is horrible, and it took me a long time, you know what I mean, to even begin repairing that. And I hated everything. And then now I have this man that I've never even heard of on a YouTube telling me it's your fault. And so he said, now there was a certain point in your life when you made the decision you're not good at math. You made the decision you are the type of husband you are. You made the decision you would be broke. You made the decision. Now, it sounds weird. It sounds weird because you may say, oh, no, I never told myself I'm gonna be poor. I'm gonna be broke. I'm gonna be unhappy. My marriage is gonna fail. I never told myself that I'm not gonna like my health. I never said that. Yes, you did, but you don't realize it because you don't understand. You're not conscious of the thoughts that you're saying to yourself all the time. So he said, I want you. He put a challenge, two challenges. First challenge, he said, become conscious of how you talk to yourself. And the second challenge is, I want you to go back, take an hour and go back to the moment you decided that you were less than a 10. When you decided that you were less than perfect. When was the moment when you said you're not perfect? Because this idea of perfect, we think perfect means absolute, never make a mistake, never have a pimple, never burp and fart in public, never have spinach in your teeth. No, that's not perfect. The word perfect, it has to do with you are able to accomplish what you're designed for. That's when you say, oh, that's perfect. If the pole fits in the hole, then, oh, it's perfect. You put it for the fence, right? It's perfect. No, I mean, if you look at microscopic edges of the pole, it's not perfect. There's all sorts of flaws and indentations and all these bad things. So it's not absolutely perfect. It's perfect for the job. And that's what the word perfect, it has to do, not absolute, relative. Perfection means you as a human are capable of accomplishing what you're designed for. That's perfection, right? So when was the moment you decided you are not perfect, that you can't do what you are capable of doing? When? And you go back and you find that. And so I took him up on that challenge, Kong. I took him up on that. I was 23. And I got a notepad and I started jotting down my thoughts throughout the day. And man, you would have thought that I was like my worst enemy. You'll never be able to do that. You're always going to be broke. That's why you suck. Why do I always fail? I'll never be a good husband. I'm going to ruin my family the same way my dad left my mom. You know, all these things. And I never realized it. I never realized I was talking to myself like that. So it all came to a head. So I was doing that already for about a week, 2 weeks, right? It came to a head. I was about to go to the gym. I was in the gym parking lot. I'll never forget. I still have the notebook. I said, I'm right now, I'm going to trace it back to the day I made a decision that I was less than perfect. I was less than a 10. So I went back. I'm 23 years old. I'm in my car in the gym. It's about 6 p.m. Imagine the scene, right? Everybody's going to the gym right now, right? And so I'm in my car, complete silence. And I go back, 17 years old. No, I already felt that way. 15. No, I already felt 10. No, 9. No, 8. I went back to when I was 5 years old. I won't get into it because it's a very bad thing that happened to me. It was in that moment, I traced it back to that one moment. And Tony Robbins says that you can trace your self-defeating attitude to a moment, he says. And I found mine. And he says, here's the challenge. Here's what you do. When you get to that moment, I want you to relive the moment, right? Get in the moment. And then I want you to pause everything around you except for you. So everyone around you, the whole world is frozen except for younger you. And he says, I want you to tell younger you the truth. Tell them, you interpreted this situation wrong. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're going to be a CEO. You're a boss. You're this, you're that, right? So I found that moment. I paused the world around me. It was the most traumatic experience of my life. I was 5 years old. I paused the world around me and I had the conversation. Now, I'm not a cry. I'm very emotional. Like I get excited, but I don't really cry. I don't really cry a lot. Man, Khang, I was weeping, boy. Because I knew what I could see myself. And I had never relived that moment. And I could see it like it was yesterday. And then imagine, so I'm already crying. Then Tony Robbins says, take it a step further, have a conversation with them and talk to him and give him a so imagine now I'm like, it's not your fault. You know what I mean? And I'm weeping and I have the notepad still, bro. It's the lines on the notepad are all like rain, like it was rain on them.
Dude, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and here's the psychology behind it, because I think this goes good with wholesaling. I think a lot of wholesalers, if they were to do this, new entrepreneurs wholesale, if they were to do this, man, they would skyrocket to success. He says the psychology is your subconscious, it does not know the difference between reality and imagination. So if you tell your subconscious enough times the same thing, subconsciously you will begin to believe it, even if consciously you know it's not real. So your conscious mind, you know, what you talk with in your mind, you know, oh, I'm just using my imagination to go back in time and imagine me pause the whole world, conversation with younger me, and then have a pep talk. Consciously you say, yeah, it's impossible to go back in time. Your subconscious doesn't know that. Your subconscious is recording a memory as if it's happening. So your subconscious is creating a new memory around a traumatic experience. Thus, you're able to rewire your mind. So that one traumatic experience that you now have interpreted your whole life, I'm a failure, I'm ugly, my skin is nasty, my face is, you know, all these limiting beliefs, I'll be broke, poor, negative. That one traumatic experience, you go back and you imagine this very real and emotionalized conversation. Your subconscious says, no, that happened. So guess what happens? The mind starts rewiring, and now you can, boom, to remove those limiting beliefs and start taking off. And I feel like that moment right there, bro, from that moment, I feel like despite I've taken a lot of losses, a lot of L's, from that moment, bro, my self-esteem has literally skyrocketed. You can't tell me nothing, man. You can't tell me nothing.
Dude, bro, I can sit here and listen to you talk, bro. you're definitely, dude, you pull me and suck me into the story, dude. That is crazy, bro.
Thank you, dude, man. I appreciate it.
That is crazy. Woo!
I think that was the beginning. I think that was the beginning. You know, because it was the rewiring, and then I stumbled on wholesaling, and then I took it and just ran with it. You know.
So okay, so bro, so basically with that, obviously you still got, so you're still getting the job. So tell me
Yep.
from the moment where the wife, talked to you, and then when did you actually stumble onto wholesaling, and then took it to doing the first deal and etc. Dude.
Yeah. So all of these things that I'm telling you about, they're all happening in the same time, right? They're around the
Mm-hmm.
same time. And so I had this moment, and interestingly enough, when I had that moment, any of my friends, anybody who's close to me will tell you, man, Earon had a different look. It was just different. You know what I mean? And remember, in my mind, I have this level of competition. Like, man, I need to find something where I can be a business owner. Where I dropped out of high school. I don't have any skills. I don't have any talent. You know. So my father-in-law, he says, hey, there's gonna be a legacy class coming to a hotel near us. I said, what legacy? What's that? And he said, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm like, what's that? He's like, Robert Kiyosaki. I'm like, who's that? He says, what? Now, in that moment, my father-in-law says, man, we've already flipped 3 or 4 houses. We've wholesaled a bunch of deals. I'm like, wholesale, what's that? He said, he's looking at me like, man, you really, I got a lot to teach you. So he says, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'll tell you if you want to learn more. Come with me to the class. So we go to the class. It's a 2-hour thing. Obviously, they're trying to pitch you for the weekend, right? So all I remember on that class, because they talked about all sorts of real estate strategies, da, 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 da. The one thing I remember was the gentleman in front of the stage said that you can get started with no money, with no credit. And he said, and I was like, what? Because my credit was trash and I definitely didn't have any money. And he says, in addition to that, there's a strategy called wholesaling. And he walks us through the strategy, how he was able to make an offer, didn't put no money down, got it under contract, found a buyer who was willing to purchase the contract from him, and he made $10,000 in 2 or 3 weeks. Bro, my heart is like, da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, from that point, I didn't hear anything else. And so at the very end, they said, if you want to learn more about how to flip, how to option, subject to creative finance, if you want to know how to wholesale, and I'm like, wholesale? $500 for 2 whole days, breaking down, da, 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 da. And I said, man, I was like, babe, we gotta do it. And we didn't have any money, you know what I mean? So she was like, well, I mean, we don't really have any money, so I mean, we can do it, but we gonna be on ramen noodles for for a little while. And so I was like, let's do it, trust me, like this is it. So we go to the 2-day course, and that was just an upsell for another 50,000 thing. And they only spent, out of the 2 days, it was Saturday, Sunday, they only spent out of the 2 days maybe 30 minutes talking about wholesale. And they went over, and I'm not knocking them, by the way. Hey, good, kudos for them for doing what they do. That's their business. I'm just saying my experience. So in the 30 minutes, all they did was share another rah-rah story. But I'm like, how do I find these people? How do I? So Sunday evening comes, I'm like, hey, where do we go for information? She was like, my dad, talk to my dad. So I reached out to him, and he sits me down and he says, listen, everything that you need is on YouTube. Everything that you need is on Google. Everything. And at this point, we are in 2014, 2015. No, I'm sorry. This is 2015. Okay. Now we take to Google. At this time, we're in Chicagoland area. We're in a suburb of Chicago called Bolingbrook. And we start learning all through YouTube. And guess who the people that I saw on YouTube, bro?
Who?
It was the first people that I saw on YouTube. Tom Kroll, Wholesaling Inc. The one guy, he has like a Polish name. Man, I forgot his name. He good information, good content, and freaking. Oh,
Is
do you
it
know
the
what?
ball guy?
Yeah. The ball guy, he has a Polish name, and he has a
Like,
book that.
like he has the book,
And
and I think he has like
always
100
writing on the
something
whiteboard.
subscriber. Writes on the
Yeah.
whiteboard.
Yeah.
I don't know his name either, bro.
So it was three people that I first saw. It was Tom Kroll, right? Wholesaling Inc. Then it was that guy, the Polish guy, good information, and it was Mr. King Kong, baby.
No, dude, no way, bro. For real?
I swear, bro. I swear,
Oh,
bro.
dude, I didn't know that.
Yes, bro. Yes. In fact, I remember the video too. The video was you were walking on a trail, and you were holding your phone, talking to the phone. I remember it, bro, and because I was like, man, who is this excited Asian-looking guy that's screaming at the camera, man? But I appreciated it because it was motivation, saying you can do it. You know what I mean? And then you were, even at the time, I believe you had a course, and you were for people who you were showing them how to wholesale. And you were giving experiences and things like that. And so for me, it was motivation, man. It was motivation. So from that time, that was about 2016, late 2015, 2016 time. All right. I didn't do my first deal until mid 2017. Because there was a whole lot of stuff that went on in my life. My first deal, I made $750. I did everything wrong. Man. Matter of fact, I messed everything up so bad that the buyer was like, "Hey, have you ever done one of these before?" And I was like, "No, sir." No. And he was like, "Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna contract it for you. Okay? Let's scrap this original contract that you had. Let me go to the seller. I'm gonna contract it for you. I'm gonna pay you outside of escrow." Now, I would never recommend that anybody ever do that. Don't ever do that, because some of these guys are here shady. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And low key, I think that he took advantage of me for sure. But I remember after we closed, the day of closing, cash $750. That moment, fireworks, bro. I was like, it's a wrap. This is it. I'm doing this, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. So Earon, real quick, man, you said that there were some mistakes. And I think people, when you learn from successful people, not just the success, but I think mistake is also huge. Not just so you can, just not avoid it, but when you do come across, it's how to handle it. So Earon, let's talk about some of the mistakes that you made on your first deal, bro.
So the first thing was I should have asked somebody for advice on how to drop a purchase agreement. I had no idea what I was doing. Bro, when I say I had no idea, I remember, because I was marketing, and then I get somebody who says, sure, I'll meet you at the property. Because my script, I didn't have a script. I was like, hey, I was wondering if I could buy your property. You know what I mean? I don't know. And so they were like, sure. I mean, so we set the appointment, and bro, I know that the buyer took advantage of me because I think I offered the lady, like, I kid you not, like $8,000, $10,000 for her property, and I ended up contracting it for like 12 or 15. And I know for a fact, bro, that should have been at least, $15,000, $20,000 deal. But who cares? But instead of maybe calling a title company, or maybe a local hard money lender, hey, how do I fill out a purchase agreement? or maybe reach out to a trusted investor in the area and maybe offer some sort of value to them so that I could, you know, ask for something in return, which is, hey, can you show me how to fill out a purchase agreement? I didn't. I was afraid. I didn't know how open people in the industry would be to somebody new like me who you know, didn't know anything. You know, I was scared. So I said, no, I'm just gonna figure out on my own. I tried to look on YouTube how to fill them out, but there was nothing state specific for me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? There was nothing state specific for me. So everything was just confusing. So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to do it. All I know is that this is an agreement that says we sign. I'm going to put the number that we agree on. I'm going to put her signature and my signature. And that was it. I didn't fill out anything else, man. And you know, whenever my buyer, and then I didn't even turn it to title. I just held it. I just held the purchase agreement because I'm like, we're under agreement now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now I'm looking for buyers. And so I went to another wholesaler because I was like, I don't know where to find buyers. Where do I go to find buyers? So I found another wholesaler, and he helped me actually locate the buyer. And he actually got paid by the buyer too. So who knows how much they made. But I didn't ask for any help, man. And that's one thing that I definitely would recommend for newer people. It's okay to ask for help. You know, I'd recommend, you know, if you're going to do that, maybe position yourself where you're coming to provide value.
Mm.
So if you're going to reach out to someone to help you, maybe you need help with anything in the process. If you're going to reach out to a hard money lender, a realtor, an investor, another wholesaler, why not position it to, hey, whenever I get deals, maybe my first deal I can share with you, or maybe I can give you a tiny percentage of this one, or I'll give you a finder's fee just for helping me here. It could be anything. It could be anything. Or, hey, Mr. Realtor, I'm going to be doing this. I'm here for the long haul. So if I ever come across anybody in my marketing and my conversations that doesn't want to sell wholesale that I need, but they want retail, Mr. Realtor, I'll give those to you. But I need your help right now. You know, or I'll give a handful to you, but I need your help right now. Can you show me how to do a purchase agreement in our state? You know what I mean? It could be anything. It could, you know what? It could be coffee. It could be coffee. Hey, do you mind if I buy you a coffee and get to know? And people love to share their experience. So you can say, hey, do you mind? I'm just a newbie. And don't be afraid to admit that to people. People love to educate. People love, you call somebody and say, hey, I'll buy you lunch. You know, can you share with me a few things? I won't take too much of your time. People will spend an hour with you educating. So that's one thing. One mistake I made, that tip that I would give, Khang.
Awesome, man. So for those of you now, here's my take. Well, for those of you who, if you want to get purchase and sell agreement, man, I highly recommend any one of you are starting out, at least go attend your local RIA. Go to your local RIA. Just Google it, man. Google local RIA. They're on Facebook. You know, I'm sure you can find one in every city, right? So Google it, find one, find the person that runs the local RIA, and ask them, hey, what purchase and sell agreement do you use? Because you know they're probably doing the business too. If they're not, they can link you up with somebody, man, that can get you. Because that's also the one thing that was holding me back, bro. Is I was so afraid to get caught in the legal issue that I was like, oh, I don't know if I should use this. I don't want to get an attorney because they're gonna cost me a boatload of money to write up, like, and I was so afraid, and it held me back for a long time. You know, once I got the purchase and sale agreement that I know people in my area that are using, dude, I was like, I took that thing and I was like, yep, it's about to hand them out.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So now, Earon, let me ask you, man. So from that deal, right? From that first deal, bro. So now we both know, and I think everyone that's watching can agree, the hardest one, right? It's always your first one because you're learning the process and you're trying to implement and everything like that, right? So the first deal is always the hardest. But let me tell you something. Most people, and this is the real world, man. Most people, after doing the first deal, can never get to the point where they can actually turn it into a business. Like making it one, you know, pumping that deal out every single month. Not just trying to get to 40K a month, 50K a month, but But just to being able to do one deal a month where they can make 5K a month, dude, it's hard for that person to take that to turn to a business. So now let me ask you, bro, from that deal, dude, how do you go from that into actually turn it into a business, dude?
Yep, I love that question. The first step that I believe is believing that I could. It's believing that I could and then having the desire to do it. So I believed that I could turn this into a business, and I had a strong desire to turn it into a business. There was one problem though. There was one problem. I had never run a business. I had never run a business. I had only seen movies about it. I had only seen, shows about it. You know what I mean? Nobody in my family ever ran a business. Not the ones that were around me. You know what I mean? So I'll say this: first full year wholesaling, right? $500,000 in assignment fees. Watch this, Khang. I went broke 4 times.
I gotta hear about it.
First full year, $500,000 generated GP. I go broke 4 times. So how in the world does that happen? Well, like I said, we had never run a business, so there were no processes, there were no systems, there was no CRM. Our CRM was an Excel spreadsheet. It's an Excel spreadsheet. And then guess how I manage my finances? And this is with a mistake. And this is where I would encourage entrepreneurs now. If you take one thing away, and this may make your brain bleed a little bit, but take this away. Read the book Profit First and implement it now. I don't care if you're not making any money. I don't care if you're only making one wholesale deal and you're super broke, and implement it now. Because here's how I was operating my business, Khang. I had one business, I had one personal account. That's it. And so wholesale deals were coming in, boom, left and right. Get a $10,000 deal, $15,000 deal, $30,000 deal, $20,000 deal, boom, bro. When we were really cooking, bro, we were making guap, crazy. And our overhead was mad low. No processes, no systems, no nothing, right? One bank account. My personal bank account. So in my mind, I am rich. I'm so filthy rich. It's disgusting. Right? You know what I mean? Like I'm walking different, you know what I mean? But see, here's what I didn't realize. I look on my bank account and there's $90,000. I had never seen $90,000 in a year. Bro, within a few months, $90,000, right? So in my mind, I have $90,000. But here's what you don't realize, rookie entrepreneurs. Here's what you don't realize. That's not your money. A percentage belongs to Uncle Sam. A percentage belongs to the overhead for your business. A percentage belongs to your lifestyle. A percentage belongs to your greater purpose that you to make you something that is of greater good beyond you, beyond your business, beyond you must be giving something away to help. And if you're not doing that, I encourage you to do that. But those funds, it wasn't 90,000. It was much smaller than that. And so that's how we were operating the business. So what would happen is I realized you go 1, 2 quarters, 3 quarters operating like this. I began to realize something's not right, because I have more money in the account than I could ever even imagine. But why am I always scared? Why am I always nervous? Why am I always, I'm like getting gray hairs, man. And I realized when one of my mentors recommended to me, Brent Daniels, he recommended to me, he said, Profit First. Read the book now. Read it, implement it now. So I implement it and I realize, oh, when money comes in, it goes into the LOC and then boom, boom, it immediately is apportioned out to this account, this account, this account, this account, this account. So what happens is it feels ugly because it's like initially you're like, oh man, I made a $20,000 deal and I'm only going to get this amount that's going to come to me. Oh man, it sucks. But what you don't realize is the long-term implication of that is at the end of the year, you don't have to pay taxes. Your tax account pays for that. You don't have to pay for your business. Your business account pays for that. You don't have to pay for bills. Your family bill account pays for that. You don't have to pay for this. This pays for that. So, and almost immediately, Khang, almost immediately from implementing that in my personal life, it was like a peace of mind. And I'll share something, if I can be vulnerable with you, I'll share something with you. Finishing off that year as strong as we did, right? We took some major L's in business. We lost a lot of money, a lot of money, right? And so the beginning of this year, the first half of this year has been a nightmare, in terms of volume, in terms of, rebuilding the business, in terms of getting our processes back in shape to where we were at the end of last year. It was like literally every bad thing you can think of in business, right? And we're still kind of rookies in the game, we're still right at 2 years. So the beginning of this year, we're a year and a half in business, and all these bad things happened. We lost $180,000 of funds that were invested. We got taken by another wholesaler, another guru. In addition to that, yeah, bro, it was crazy. But this all ties in. So we got taken. So we lose that, right? Then because of the domino effect, this position guy that I had, right, who was also, part owner of the company, he wasn't able to continue forward with us. So we have to fill that role, right? In addition to that, now operating from a spirit of fear, because how do you go from the biggest and greatest year of your entire life to rock bottom at the beginning of the year, right? And rebuilding the business, right? I'll say now here's how it ties back to profit first and why is this so important. Because I started implementing that strategy, right? With all of the difficulties faced in business, bruh, I'm stress-free. Now, healthy measure of paranoia, yes. As a CEO, I think you should always have a healthy measure of paranoia, a hunger, a desire to keep growing, fighting. But in terms of stress-free. I haven't taken a salary from my company in 6 months because we have to rebuild and regrow, and we are. We're finally building traction and momentum, and we're getting ready to boom again. I haven't taken a salary from my business in 6 months, and guess what? I ain't even sweating because bill account is paid in full, baby. The personal account is paid in full, and that's from using the profit first strategy. If I had not been doing that, I'd have been struggling. So what I would recommend, one thing that I would recommend, in terms of, your question was regarding, taking it from, all right, I've done one deal to I'm turning this into a business. This stuff runs off of money, man. It runs off of money. Money. And I don't want to sound materialistic, but baby, it's money, baby. So if you're not doing your money right, if you're out being crazy with your money, I don't care if it's 1 deal or 2 deals or 3 deals, man, be smart with your money. Go get the book Profit First, because that money during the tough times, if you're smart now, man, you never know what's going to happen 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now. You don't know. And so be smart with your money now, man, you're going to thank yourself later.
Bro, Earon, dude, oh my God, bro. Listen, you guys, man, you got to understand, man, right? We get winter, we get summer. It can't rain all the time. It can't snow all the time. Dude, you can't win all the time, right? What you need is, dude, when you get the losses, like, do you have the money, dude, to stop the bleeding? You know, you got to have the money, man, right, to overcome your losses.
Yep.
You know, and I think that's why a lot of, like, you know, sport place or whatever it is like that, right? They make the money, they're like, oh, this is easy. Dude, I can do this. This is easy. And they go and they blow it, dude. And when their career's over, guess what, dude? Right? They have nothing left, dude. Right? They think that they can always win. I can always win. I can always, dude. You can't always win in life, man. You know, there's always the opposite to everything.
Yes.
And let me tell you, dude, and I have taken a lot of losses and things like that as well, but just like you know. But what Earon just said, profit, dude, that's the you gotta read that. And here's another thing that I gotta point out for those of you who are, you know, starting out. You know, obviously, you know, our ultimate goal, the end goal is what? Cash flow, right? Rental property. I think majority of real estate investors, that's the ultimate goal, right? That's the ultimate goal, is getting to the passive income buying rental property. I get some of you ask me, so Khang, where do you put your wholesaling money? Dude, that's where it goes. But listen to me. When you're first starting out, now it depends on where you're at in your age and what is your ultimate goal. Yep. And what Earon just said, dude, is huge. Your business, dude, it needs fuel. Your fuel is your money. And dude, so if you want to grow your business, so my thing is, dude, be focused on building that cash cow first before you buy your cash flow. So let me tell you what I mean by this, man, is build your business up first to the point where it can pump you, man, lots of money every single month, because you got to understand your passive income will only give you little drips, $1,000 a month in passive income. Dude, it takes a long time, man, because passive income is a long-term play. It takes a long time, bro, to get your passive income to like 5K a month, 10K a month, 20K a month, right? So in the meantime, dude, your business, dude, it cannot grow, you know, as quick as it can grow and scale as big as it can scale. If you're taking the money you make, let's just say you make 10K or 20K, and then boom, you dump it into buying a rental. It gives you, now that rental gives you $500 a month, $1,000 a month. Dude, that is not enough, man, to fuel the beast. It's going to slow it's going to slow your business down. It's going to slow the growth of your business. A lot of you get all excited about, oh, you know what, having my money work for me so I can sit back and ain't doing shit. Right? But I'm telling you, is that you're too rushing into the game. Listen, if you're in your 50s, right? If you're in your 50s, that's different, right? And maybe your game plan is different. You're okay with, you know, the slow growth. But I'm telling you, build that business first. Build that oil business first. Then eventually get to the point where it pumps out, you know, 30, 40, 50K a month. That's when I think it's time for you now to start taking that money, right, and then dumping into buying passive income. I'm sharing with you not because something I read, not something I watch on YouTube. That's exactly what the wife and I did. We were just focused on, man, oil up, fuel back in. But you know what Earon just also touched base on is that, like, I don't know how a lot of you do it, where you where a lot of you, I think, mistaken, where people say, hey, take whatever it is, dump it back in. Dude, I think you need to sit down and dump a percentage in, but not go all in.
Agreed.
So
agreed.
Not, if you make 15K, don't just dump it all back in, dude. Just slowly, but always set some cash aside for any speed bump. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people might hear people say, hey, you know what, take whatever you make and reinvest it back in, right? But dude, what people get it wrong is that, oh, now I make 15K. Well, dude, let's get fancy. And that's the mistake, dude.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Fancy, dude. Oh, I make 15 G's. Well, people said reinvest it back into my business. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get the system. I'm going to hire employees. Dude, you're not in positions, right?
Yes.
You need to focus on what is working for you already, and just keep on doing that same thing until you get to the point where you can take some money, man, and go through the trial and the error. Now, listen, maybe Earon in his area, he said he doing text messaging. dude, sometimes text messaging works in a certain area. You still got to go through the trial and error with the system, with your team, right? So you you got to understand, you can't take the 10K that you made and, hey, now I'm going to take the 5K. I'm going to try this new marketing, dude. It's the trial and error, man. It's going to burn through that money, man.
Yep.
Just keep on going. What's working for you?
Yep.
Because listen, you have 10K, losing 5K on a 10K, dude. That freaking hurts. That's 50%.
Yeah.
But when you get to 100K and you lose 5K, that's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. And dude, I'm telling you, because I made the mistake. I was confident, dude. Earon, I went into a market, right? A new market. And I've been doing this for a while. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to take some money. I'm going to dump it in here. I'm going to get a deal. It makes back in return. Dude, 30K go poof. 40K go poof. Dude, I think, I looked at my account, dude, I was 250 G's out. And dude,
I've been there.
Holy smoke, dude, it goes
I've
quick.
been there.
It goes quick. So Earon, I mean, we're getting close to wrapping this up, man.
Okay.
What else? I guess what else do you got to say to the people, you know, starting out either in this business or closing their first deal now? They're looking to scale up, and all of that, man.
I would say the first thing is just understand that it can be done, and work on you. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but if you understand that it can be done, then you're not going to make any excuses for why it's not happening, right? And work on you. And I say work on you because this business, it's 3 components. It's people, data, speed. You know, can you get to the deal fast enough? You know, can you expedite the process, right? Can you pull good data? Right, that's where you're gonna be able to reach out to people. But I think the most important aspect of this business is people, and not just the people that you're reaching out to asking if they want to sell their home. There's the people reaching out asking, hey, do you want to buy a home? But then there's the people of your vendors, your title company. You know, if you have an attorney, a realtor, you know, hard money lenders, other wholesalers, those people. But most importantly, in my opinion, is your internal team. If you cannot lead them, then, and you cannot inspire them, then you'll never be able to build anything sustainable, anything noteworthy, because you will forever be in a situation, S quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki calls it S quadrant, where the more you grow, the more you work. The more you work, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you work. And now you just own a job. I don't want that. I want a business. I want to be B quadrant, a business where I own a process. And other individuals work that process for me while I scale the business as a CEO. I want to be a CEO. That's what I want. That's my desire, my hunger, my passion, right? I say that because I say all of that to say, if you as a leader need somebody to motivate you, you are in trouble. If you as a leader are waiting for your company, your business to magically get momentum, your company is in trouble. So no matter whether you like to admit it or not, you have to be a leader. And it starts with first leading yourself, because there's gonna come tough times in this business where you have to make very, very tough calls. And if you've disciplined yourself to say, hey, I gotta go through it, and I'm gonna keep moving no matter what. Rocky, you know, you punch me, I'm getting back up. You know what I mean? If you discipline yourself to be able to do that, then you're gonna go with the punches, and those are the ones. The Darren Hardy said it best. He said, you wanna know who the successful ones are in this industry? And this goes anywhere. You wanna know who the successful ones are in this industry? Wait 5 years and see who's still here.
Because, I mean, dude, the real world is, yes, to become a successful entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur. Everybody can be, call themselves an entrepreneur. Dude, to become a successful entrepreneur or have a successful business, dude, it takes so so freaking much, man.
Yep.
It takes a lot. And I think what most business fail within 1 or 2 years, something like that, bro.
Yeah, one or two, man. And with what's going on in our society right now, I would say maybe even less. And
Dude,
and can I say one thing, Kong?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be successful, but very few people can handle the pressure.
Done. Wrapping it up, man. Dude. Dude.
That's real, man. That's real.
It is. And dude, Earon's on here, man, just dropping bomb. And you guys, for those of you, I think, you know, just touch base on what Earon just said. There's only three, dude, the three ingredients, man, when you're starting out on anything. Number one, just like what Earon just said, you got to believe it's possible. So let's say someone came across a video like us talking about wholesaling. Well, if you don't believe, right, that is possible, then obviously you're not going to dissect and say, hey, you're not going to dissect and dig deep into it. You would just throw the information away. Second, you got to believe that you can do this, which means you got to eliminate all the excuse, man. Eliminate all the excuse and believe that, yes, if he can do it, she can do it, I too can do this. And that will give you the motivation, man, right, to take the step number 3 is take freaking action. A lot of you are sitting on your freaking couch and say, hey, I want to look good like this guy. Hey, I want to look good like Earon, but I'm going to eat some freaking McDonald's. You know what I mean? McDonald's. You know what I mean, dude? You got to take action, right? You see people that succeed, but you forgot the price that they paid to get there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You like, you want the price tag, like you want that trophy, you pay the price. All right. And then number 3, finally, once you take the actions, do the last one. Most people can't even pass, and that is, are you willing to stay committed, dude? And that's it. If you do all of that, you stay committed, man. The result is gonna come, man. It's just sooner or later, right?
Yep.
Because we all learn differently.
Yeah.
So, Earon, man, how do people now, because dude, you drop so freaking much bomb, dude. And listen, bro, I love you, bro. The energy, the stories, dude, I love it, man. How do people now, man, connect with you and get more of Earon? I want more, man. Mucho. Mucho dinero.
The best place to get in contact with me is my Facebook group, SuperHuman Wholesalers. SuperHuman Wholesalers. Superhuman, just like the word superhuman, wholesalers. The Facebook group, look it up, go add yourself. It's you know, I don't do any mentorship, I don't do anything like that. We have a little campaign that we do monthly. It's free, but it's not to teach people, it's just like a little accountability thing. If you can afford a mentor, I recommend that you go and pay for a mentor. And I mean that because, you know, last year we paid, you know, definitely our, you know, enough in mentorship to see the value in it and recognize the value. So we don't do that, but we just share gems and nuggets with people that we're even still trying to implement in our own business. So it's all organic, it's all grassroots, it's no fluff. It's just a bunch of raw and real, man. So Superhuman Wholesalers, that's the best way to get in contact with me.
Awesome, man. So no, okay. So you guys, I'll make sure that I put the link right below. And Earon, I mean, dude, I want to say thank you so much, bro, for jumping on, taking your precious time to drop bombs on the Wholesale to Million family. You guys, if this video add, God, a little bit of value to you, which I know a lot, be sure to hit that bell notification, turn on, turn it on. Also hit that subscribe button, smash the thumbs up for my man. Earon, thank you so much, bro. Until next time, you guys, take care.
My pleasure.
Dude.
Laters.